I've gone through a lot. I lost 9 of my family, my mother, my wife, my brothers and sisters. All of them died.
Memories of those dead bodies, cause fear to us.
I face something, stigma in my community.
The Ebola epidemic hit West Africa hard in March 2014. Schools were shut, streets, businesses, and beaches became bare. Curfews and the ABC rule to avoid body contact restricted touching, especially dead bodies. Fear, stigma, myths.
People were actually attributing the many deaths to a witch plane.
Loss and unfathomable trauma spread as fast as the virus.
We're all connected, right?
To address such threats in mental health and well-being, I went to Sierra Leone to help provide psychosocial support, as I'd done after many disasters worldwide. We conducted trainings and workshops for children, communities, burial teams, healthcare workers, and many groups. Nearly a year later, by November of 2015, when I returned to the country, now Ebola-free, it looked like a new world. With bustling streets, busy stalls, packed buses, weddings, people hugging with the ban on touch lifted, schools reopened.
I want to be a doctor.
And beaches packed with people.
Life looks like it's back to normal on the outside, but it's not the same story on the inside.
Don't know where to sleep, even to eat.
People stigmatize us.
Some of my friends, like for instance, they run away from me.
I'm out of job. We don't have a place to live. We are in the streets right now.
My side is aching, my stomach, my head.
The women, they lost their husbands. Yeah, say, but look, you are still having the virus in your system, so I cannot accept you anymore.
Research proves psychological problems are long-lasting after crisis. It's the reason why my colleagues and I raised consciousness about the psychosocial issues in Ebola at this panel at the United Nations, organized by Voices of African Mothers, and at this forum at the UN in December 2014 that I co-organized in my role as chair of the Psychology Coalition, with sponsorship and panelists from many missions to the United Nations, Liberia, Guinea, Uganda, the US, as well as NGOs and UN agencies like UNICEF and WHO. All that inspired my trip to the Ebola-stricken region to help build resilience and capacity, with the efforts earning the blessing of high-level officials. To counteract hopelessness from the drastic disease, my songwriting partners and I wrote a theme song about hope. Hope, yes, but the mental health and psychosocial needs in the region are drastic.
In these countries, all of them had less than 1 psychiatrist per 1 million population.
They were psychologically traumatized after the war and then during the course of Ebola.
The importance and the impact of mental health here in Sierra Leone is evident at this conference. The theme of this mental health conference is the popular phrase, building back better. Local presenters joined international experts who came from countries like the UK, Spain, the Netherlands, and the US to present their work in many partnerships with local Sierra Leoneans. Support for recovery is happening for survivors in this network supported by the government.
We educate people, we render some psychosocial support.
For community members affected by Ebola, welcomed back as shown in plays like this one. And for youth, in programs like this one founded by a former burial team member. In these workshops I co-developed for children's resilience being rolled out. And this camp supported by the First Lady of Sierra Leone and UNFPA to teach girls about issues like climate change, waste management, and self-esteem.
I'm brilliant, I'm smart, I can change the world.
Celebrating heroes. It's a major theme in Ebola recovery. Ebola survivors are heroes. Government officials who stepped up to the plate are heroes.
I quarantined homes in the absence of medical teams coming in.
All responders, helpers, and the people are heroes.
You did an amazing thing for everybody and for your country.
Despite advances, there is much to be done and many needs.
What we look for from the government's part is to also make the necessary changes in the national constitution that discriminates and stigmatizes against people who are mentally ill.
We need counseling. We need medical support.
The money is not enough for us.
I'm asking you guys for you to support these orphans in the schools.
But ultimately, hope is alive.
You love me, I love you, hope is alive.
But we are survivors, so we will survive.
Love together, hope is alive.
Yes, I'm a Sierra Leonean, a true Sierra Leonean. Yes, I've gone through war.